This example starts us off with a graph, and the first thing that I always want to do when I'm looking at a graph on the AP Calc test is determine what this is the graph of. So we see a particle moves along a straight line for 8 seconds, so its velocity is modeled by the graph above. So what we're looking at up above here is a velocity graph. So they even have it marked on this one, v of t. And then what they want us to do on this is determine during the time interval 0 to 8, what is the total distance the particle moves. So the key on this is this one word here, total distance. These problems will break down by just one word. You've got two options when you do this type of problem. One is total displacement, which is asking you how far from your starting location did you end up. The second thing that you will see them ask you is for total distance. And the difference between these two problems here is when we're talking total displacement, you have to treat area above the x-axis as positive area. Area below the x-axis would be considered negative area. And then you add up all of those pieces together to figure out what your total displacement is. And so the way I tell people about this is sort of like, if I've got a starting point right here and I take 7 steps forward, but then I take 3 steps backwards, my total displacement in this situation is how far from that starting point I ended up, and that would be 4. However, when you are talking total distance, in that situation, you need to treat all area as positive. And so what that question is really asking you about is it's sort of saying, okay, if I started here at 0, if I take 7 steps forward and I take 3 steps backwards, the total distance I traveled was a total distance of 10 steps. So I don't add them up as positive and negative. I think of it as all positive. And so the difference between these, it comes down to that one word there, whether we're talking displacement or distance. And so our problem is talking to us about the total distance traveled. And so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add up all the area and treat it as positive. And we're going in this one from 0 to 8 here. So we're starting over here at 0 and we're ending up at 8. The way these problems work out when you're not given an equation to work from is you're really being asked to use your standard geometry formulas to kind of break down that shape into geometry formulas that you're familiar with. So what I would do is I would say, okay, from 0 until 3 right here, this is a rectangle. And so the area of a rectangle is base times height. So if I do that section of this, if I go from 0 to 3, my base on this is 3, and my height on this is 2. So for that first section from 0 to 3, I'm going to be doing the area of that section. So base 3 times height 2. And then I'm going to add to that the next shape. Well, the next shape is a triangle right here. And so the area of a triangle formula is 1/2 base times height. So here the base in this situation would be 2. And then our height is again going to be the same height there, 2. So what we'd be looking at to go from 3 to 5 is the area of a triangle. 1/2 base times height. So our base was 2 and our height was also 2. Then we're going to add to that, we start here at 5, and then if I draw down from there, I can see that I've got another triangle happening here. And I'm going to be doing area 1/2 base times height again. And because we're talking distance, I don't care that this is below the x-axis. I don't care that that's negative area. So I'm just going to treat everything as a positive. So my base in this situation is 2, and then my height here, while it's negative, is also 2. So then from 5 to 7, I'm going to add on to this another 1/2 base of 2, height of 2. And then we do our last little segment here. So in this last little section from 7 to 8, Now we're looking at this space here, and we're back to another area of a rectangle, which is base times height. The base on this one is going to be 1, and then the height on this is going to be, again, we don't care about positives or negatives, just everything's a positive, so this height would also be 2. So then from 7 to 8, I'm going to add on base times height. So base of 1, height of 2. And now we just bring it all back together and keep it all positive. So out of here, I'm going to get 6 plus 1/2 of 4 is 2, plus another 1/2 of 4 is 2 again, and then plus this last area, 1 times 2 is 2. So we get 6 plus 6 is going to end up giving us 12, and we're talking meters, so this would be 12 meters. That's our total distance traveled. If they asked us about displacement, all of this area over here on this side, that would have all been treated as negative area, and we would have subtracted it. But when you're talking total distance, all area is positive. Treat it all positive, add it all up. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, please click that like button and subscribe. And also share it with your friends and anyone else you know who might be crying about an upcoming AP Calc test. You can find more videos from me, more sample AP Calc questions, and my complete AP Calc study guide over at my website, apcalcprep.com. Have a great one.